This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Welcome back to Death, Glory, or Disappointment. This is Season 2, and I have with me the even more legendary than he was last time, Mr. Dan Meredith. What is up, brother?
Good day to you, sir. Yeah, I wouldn't say more legendary, more fucking tired. Definitely when I last seen you, I didn't think that would take it out of me quite so much, buddy.
Yeah, so we were wrapping up Season 1, and I know we didn't mention it on the show, and we should have, but we wrapped up Season 1. Really, it culminated in your big event. So tell us what went on over there, Dan.
So yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing is, so one of my private clients is now my business partner in kind of like the events side of things. On a whim, we decided, as I said before, we booked Gary Vee. We put quite a lot of money down, and neither of us had any experience of running events, booking speakers, public speaking, selling tickets, paid advertising. You know, I've done it before, but not for myself. So we went balls deep into the event. We got the likes of, we had Gary headlining it. We had Ryan Lee and Sean Whalen from the States. We had a lady called Shah Wasman, another gentleman called Ketan Makwana from the UK, like big UK business entrepreneurial type people. And we sold out. We got sold our 400 odd tickets that we wanted to do. And honestly, mate, it has been insane. I mean, Jonathan, any of you don't know Jonathan, me and Jonathan, have known each other for a long time. It took me a day to get to his message in my inbox. I had just over 1,100 inbox messages in my Facebook. And then I found the whole filtered thing. And I was like, oh, shit. Literally 9 till 8 o'clock at night, just replying to messages. The feedback was insane.
Wow. And you put that together in, what, about a month?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Nobody's got any excuses anymore hearing that story. So the other part, and now we talked up the event right before we finished Season 1. The other weird thing that you did leading up to the event was you wrote a book.
Oh, yeah. I thought, well, when am I going to get 400 people who are, I hate to use the first Dan fans, but a couple of them like me. I know they're mostly there for Gary Vee, but I thought, well, fuck it. Let's take this and use it to our advantage. So as a lot of people I know in the entrepreneurial world, business world, fitness world, coaching world, they want to write a book. And I've always wanted to write a book. I've kind of written a few ebooks before, small things, like sort of 20, 40 pages. But I decided I need to have a book, a physical book with me on the day. So I decided to write one. The actual writing process was 3.5 days for 49,000 words. Wow. And I hired a editor. He spent a day with me, like the editor of my publishing company. And I said, look, I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm doing. Here's some money. Help me plan this shit out. 6 hours, we planned the book. I actually procrastinated for a couple of days. I started on the Friday. It was finished by the Monday.
Wow. All right. So you brought the editor in first, and then he helped you map everything out, and then you went and banged it out. Yep.
Just literally old school, coffee, nootropics, couple of vodkas every now and then when I got writer's block. I even hired, I tell to people all the time, I live, a really nice apartment block in the UK, and there's a coffee shop at the bottom. I even hired the coffee shop. I paid them to stay open till 2 a.m. just to let me sit there and work.
Holy crap. Only Dan right there. So how did the two pieces fit together? The event, which was a big success, and you had Gary Vee there and a bunch of other cool people, and then your book. How did those two pieces fit together?
Yeah, so what we decided to do, so I did a limited edition pre-order run of 500, and I managed to sell 350 just to my own group, and we sold another 120, 130 on the night. So these were hand-numbered, hand-signed, limited edition cover. They were, they're all one-offs. You can get it on Amazon now. But these ones were kind of, special. I told them on the night, and I said, anything we sell tonight as well. I said, look, We gave all the VIPs and the kind of, the premium seats, they got a free copy. But I just was honest. I said, look, this is something that's been in me for years. I think it's really valuable. I think it's helpful. I hope it's helpful. I've put my heart and soul into it. But I'm not here to make a profit of you. You've invested money. So if you want my book, it's like 10 quid. It's a couple of pounds off the kind of sticker price. And I said every single penny after the cost, so just actually printing, goes to charity. And they just sold out.
Wow. That is terrific. So now let's talk about this. Let's talk two parts. So now it's post-event. You got that done. So let's start with, what was your biggest lesson, your biggest takeaway from doing that event?
It's the same thing as when I wanted to own a fitness facility. It's the same thing when I wanted to be a copywriter. It's the same thing when I wanted to do the whole funnel marketing agency thing. Until you've put your money down and you've declared it's going to happen, it doesn't mean shit. And what I'm trying to say by that is that the key things we needed. We were financially, there was hurt money involved, as in if we didn't sell this out, we were fucked. And we had a deadline. It's our first event, my first event, Frank's first event. Nobody wants an empty room. It just looks embarrassing. And we also wanted to make sure that it was good. Like, we've all been to events where it just wasn't good. It was just naff. And we wanted to make the experience, like, our entire focus was on the customer. We wanted to make sure they got added value. We added in, we gave loads of books, we've got some good sponsors, we've got journals, we're doing like 4 weeks of webinars afterwards. We wanted to make the night really special for them. We had an after party, we had drink bitches, we really did try to make it happen. But the key takeaway is that until you actually set a deadline and chuck some money at something, it doesn't really matter. Like, we had no experience of doing what we did. That's completely key. Business, marketing, copy, funnels, ads, yeah, I'm good. I'll be honest, I'm good at that stuff. Coaching, also good as well. Not blowing my own trumpet, but I know this stuff because I do it every day. This is a completely new territory. And do you know what? You just fucking learn. That whole kind of like learn on the job thing. Like, we had no choice but to adapt. And the beautiful thing is, because we were trying to do something that was powerful and impactful for people, our overarching goal was, how can we serve better? How can we add more value? How can we make this powerful and useful for the attendees? That was the main thing. And because we had that as our top line goal, we said, look, if we don't make a profit, we weren't bothered. We'd like to break even, which sounds kind of contradictory, but we didn't want people to be pitched to. We didn't want people to feel like they were going to be spammed. We just wanted to add value. And because we had that as our overarching theme, along with the fact that we had to, we needed to fucking sell the tickets. We called in favors. We did things we've never done. And we just learned on the job. And as a result of that, I've got a totally new skill set and renewed admiration for people who put on events, because it was fucking brutal.
Yeah. So would you do it again?
Definitely. I did a mastermind the next day with Ryan Lee, and then I went off to do some private coaching on the Friday. The only things I'd do different is, if you're going to put on an event or a show, or you're going to do a launch, is, for me personally, like, I'm a natural introvert that's trained themselves to be a lot more extrovert, is I would have just vanished for like 2-3 days just to decompress. I mean, only today, and it's a week and a day or two, no, 9 days after the show, only today am I starting to feel slightly human. It really took it out of me.
Wow. So that is pretty amazing and pretty inspiring. So we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Dan and I talked about shortening up the shows a little bit. So Dan, how are you feeling about a slightly shorter show? Excited, less excited? You want to talk more?
It's going to be, it's going to be, I mean, there'll probably be the odd one where I probably get on one of my high horses and it might be a little longer. But we're all busy. If you can get, my whole thing is, if you can just get, of anything I produce, anything I create, anything I put out, if you can just get one nugget, I'm happy. That's it.
What I like about that is, great to sit here and listen, but as Dan has demonstrated over and over and over again, more important to take action. So whatever you pick up here with us, put that to work for you so that you can be more profitable and be more happy. So Dan, what do you have coming up for us next time?
Oh, we've got loads. We're talking about fear. We're going to talk about getting out of your own way. We're going to talk some things about copy and actually connecting with your audience. We've got all sorts coming up. Because these are short ones, I've got so many fucking good topics. You're just going to get orally, AU, abused by me.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, I just realized as I was about to say it, I'm like, I need to just make it very clear we're talking about the ear canals here. That is all.
All right. Well, so we'll be back in your ear holes next week with another shorter dose of Dan in season 2. Thank you, Dan, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back with you next week. You've been listening to Death, Glory, or Disappointment with Dan Meredith. If you enjoyed the show and you want more, then your next step is to go to iTunes right now and subscribe. And while you're there, give us a rating and review. It'll help us out a bunch, plus it'll bring you good karma.
This is the podcastfactory.com.